Back now on Triad today, and it's time to get green, everybody. And I tell you exactly, that doesn't mean fertilize your lawn. I mean, it's fine if you want to fertilize your lawn, but we're talking about green technology, green buildings, we're talking about sustainable communities is what we're talking about. We're going to do it with a very special guest. He's been on the program before, but he hasn't been here in a while, and we'd like to get him on here anytime he can spare the time. J. Paul, Director, we can see our special guest, Mark Kirstner. He's Project Manager and Planning Program Manager at PART, Piedmont Authority for Regional Transportation. Welcome again, sir.
Thank you, Jim.
Good to see you. You wear many hats over there. You're very busy, but let's talk about, because this can be kind of technical stuff. I don't want to scare people with the concept, but it's the Piedmont Triad Sustainable Communities Project. And somebody there watching say, what in the heck is that?
It's a mouthful, isn't it?
Yeah, what is it?
It's a regional effort by a number of different agencies, mostly governmental, but a lot of nonprofits. We're looking at the region and seeing what we can do to be more resilient in the years to come.
And to help the environment, and to be, when I say be green, what does that mean to people?
Well, there's a number of different things. We have a three-legged stool that's related to the project, and that's jobs, housing, and transportation. And as you know from people with PART being on here many times, public transit and other means of mobility are very important in terms of protecting the environment.
Right.
But as you mentioned too, this also gets into the area of protecting our environment through conservation of natural areas, but also just doing energy reduction type activities such as green buildings.
Sure, and that could be anything from solar to anything like that. Now look, all this sounds good in theory, but can you give me any tangible outcomes that you think are going to materialize in the near future? I mean, because otherwise people are going to say, well, Mark, what do? You go to a meeting and talk about this stuff, or what? Do you have some actual tangible outcomes that you think are going to happen?
Certainly do. Jim, I've been in this region for a while, and during the late 1990s, there was a great spirit of regionalism. I really feel like we've lost that over the last couple of decades. And if one thing that we would like to see out of this project is to get a little bit of that spirit back.
Yeah, because too often, I don't want to get into politics, I'm not going to put you in the middle, but too often the localities sort of go at loggerheads, or they're very competitive. Oh, I want to get this industry, I want to get that. And you're right, they don't always come together and work for the good of the whole region, because look, if somebody comes in as an industry, or you're doing some green things or whatever, or transit, it's going to help everybody.
Well, it used to be, Jim, that you worked and lived in small communities such as Mount Airy and larger communities such as Winston-Salem. But we know today that the reverse is true. You can live in either location or work in either location.
Yeah.
It's so we are connected as a region, and we had that connectivity several decades ago, and we've lost it.
You want to get it back.
We want to get it back.
And of course, that can be accomplished short term with education and awareness and some of the things you're doing. What about long term? Where are we headed long term with this sustainable communities thing?
Well, if we're going to create sustainable communities or livable communities or places that we really enjoy living, it's going to take some investment. And the federal and state dollars are dwindling, but there are a lot of private dollars through foundations and other areas such as that. We want to create some local funding sources for great projects that make the Triad more livable.
And what can individuals do? If somebody's watching and says, hey, wait a minute, I'm not a mayor, I'm not a county commissioner, I'm just a small business owner, or I'm a housewife, or I'm a bricklayer, what can I do?
Well, there's one great way that you can participate and provide a lot of input, and that's go to piedmontvoice.org.
Okay.
This is kind of an online regional conversation. We post questions about the region and hope to get people to respond and have a dialogue online, and all those responses sort of input into that whole planning process.
I think you call it a town hall, an internet, it's almost like a web town hall or something, right?
Yes, it is.
I want to put that up because we're almost out of time. I want to make sure we get time for everybody to read this that Mark just said. www.piedmontvoice.org is what we call the digital town hall website. Also, project website, www.triadsustainability.org, and the general website for PART is, of course, partnc.org. I know a lot of this stuff sounds scary and futuristic, but it's neither. And there are things you can do, simple things, from watching where you put your thermostat to riding PART buses instead of taking the car to work. I mean, there's just all sorts of things we can do as individuals. As business owners, we can do certain things, and that's what you can find out about on the Town Hall website. And Mark's going to be back, and we'll have other guests in the future to talk about some of these aspects. Mark Kirstner, thanks.
Appreciate the opportunity.
Appreciate it, sir.